Hello, we are doing another video. This one is for lesson 2 in the workbook. So there's a lot of directions here. Step 1, draw and shade a tape diagram of the given fraction. That's going to look like this. They've drawn this first one for you. Step 2, record the decomposition as a sum of unit fractions. And that's probably the sentence that's giving you fits. Record the decomposition as a sum of unit fractions. So here's what that means. Decomposition or decompose means break it apart. And unit fractions are fractions with a 1 in the numerator. So in this case, eighths, 1/8. So breaking it apart, decomposition into unit fractions, that's why they have 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8, because they are all ones. Unit, think 1 when you hear unit. So you have to do it with ones. And then you have to do it 2 more ways. So 5 ones made 5/8, 5 1/8 made 5/8. And then they have a couple different ways. 2 8s and 2 8s made a 1/8, and 2 8s and 1/8 and 1/8 and 1/8. That made 5/8. So your other 2 are up to you. You just have to have one that has just the unit fractions. So let's go ahead and try and do this first one. So we've got 9/10. So we have to draw a rectangle. And the way to make these rectangles work is to not try and draw a rectangle and break it up evenly. It is just to make even pieces until you get 10 of them in this case. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need more space. 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so now I need to shade in 9 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And first I have to show that 9/10 equals a whole bunch of 1/10. These are your unit fractions. And I'm going to have to do how many of these? Yes, 9 of them. Still going. What have I got so far? 5 of them? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, there's my unit fraction. So now I've done step 2. For step 3, I just need 2 more ways. And this can be any way you want as long as it adds up to 9/10. So you might have something different. Let me see. I'm going to say 4/10 plus 5/10 would be 9/10. That's an easy way to do it. And one more way, do a different color so it doesn't get confused. 9/10 equals 1/10 plus 3/10. That's a total of 4/10, right? And another 5/10. All adds up to 9. Okay, I think we get to do this one more time for part C. We've got 3 halves this time. So, again, first a tape diagram. And I gotta do halves, but I've got a 3rd half here. So I'm gonna shade in 1, 2, 3 of the halves. I'm going to write out with unit fractions. That's a half plus a half plus a half equals a total of 3 halves. By the way, this is also 1 and 1/2. Mixed number up here. This is improper. Okay, now I have to find 2 other ways to get to 3 halves. Let me see. I could do 2 halves plus 1/2 equals 3 halves. And I think I'm going to also, this seems a lot alike, but I'm going to call 2 halves 1 and say 1 plus 1/2 equals 3 halves, or 1 and 1/2. Okay, moving down to number 2. Now we have 2 steps for this one. Again, we are going to draw and shade a tape diagram of the given fraction. That was like before. We're going to record the decomposition of the fraction in 3 different ways using number sentences. Okay, so we don't have to do the unit fractions this time. We don't have to do all the ones. But we still draw it and show the addition in 3 different ways. So first we do our tape diagram. I need 8 equal pieces because this is eighths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I only need 7 of them shaded. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Did I say 7 of them shaded? 8. 7 of the 8th shaded. So I've got 7/8, and I just needed to come up with 3 different ways to get to 7/8. So you might have different answers here. As long as your numerators add up to 7 and you use 8 in the denominator, your way is fine. So I could do 1/8 plus 3/8. That's a total of 4/8. I need 3 more 8s. Another way to do this, how about 4/8 plus 2/8 plus 1/8. That would add up to 7. And finally, I'm going to say, I'm going to go for the easiest way. 4/8 plus 3/8 is also 7/8. There we go. We did step 1 and 2 for 2. Moving on, this is 2b, so the directions are the same. We are still drawing the tape diagram and writing 3 sentences that match. So 3/5 or 5/3. I'm going to need thirds here. So there's a third, there's a third, there's a third. That matches 1. But then I need more thirds. 1 more third, 1 more third. There's 5/3. I'm going to fill that in so that I've got a total of 2, right? Because each of these is 1 whole. And I'm going to shade in 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/3. And now I have to write out some number sentences that total up to 5/3. So 5/3 equals, let's see, 2/3 plus 3/3. And 5/3 equals 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 2/3 plus 1 more third. Yeah. And last, 5/3 equals 4/3 plus 1/3. And again, you might not have these exact sentences. As long as they add up to 5/3, you're fine. Oh, and by the way, 5/3 is an improper fraction. The mixed number, see if you can answer this before I say it. What's the mixed number that matches? You can see it in the picture. Pause it if you don't know and think about it for a minute. So altogether we've got 1 whole and 2 more thirds. So 1 and 2/3 is the same as 5/3. All right, moving on to number 2, part C. We've got 7/5. So fifths is 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5. Gonna need some more room. 5/5. That is where 1 is. 6/5, 7/5. Get rid of my little extra. Okay, so I'll shade in the 7/5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7/5. You know what's bothering me because last time I went all the way, I finished out this second one. I think I'll do it again. So that's 2/5. I would need 3 more fifths to do my second full one. So 1, 2, 3. So now I've got, it would take 5/5 to make 1, another 5/5 to make 1. I do have 5/5 here. but I've only got 2/5 here. Oh, so now we've already figured out this is the same as 1 and 2/5. And now I just need 3 number sentences that add up to 7/5. And you know what? I am not going to write them here. I think you can double check that your 3 sentences total up to 7/5, anything like we did for B. Same for C. As long as you have fifths in the denominator and your numerators add up to 7, you've got it right. Okay, D is 1 1/3. So I know this is thirds. So there's 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. So that's 1. And I need 1 more third that I'm going to shade in. I'd need 2 more thirds to make another whole one. But we're only doing 1 1/3. And we can see from doing that 1 1/3 equals how many thirds? 4 thirds. And of course, you can write out some number sentences with thirds. I'll let you do the last couple. And is that the end of it? Oh, this was a short one. There you go. That is lesson 2 in the workbook. Keep doing your math every day.